Bloodshot eyes.
Jim, you ready to go fishing? You aren't going fishing.
No.
You're going to stay around the campground.
Just get around and
Okay, 93 Jamboree, right? September 20, was it 29th today or the 30th?
29.
29th, September 29th, 93.
Great, thank you.
You got it, Mike?
Our name is on the list. We have to be here when he checks out.
When he checks out. Okay, we'll do that.
But I mean, we have to be here right as he's checking out to take his spot. We cannot register until he's totally off the property.
But your name is on it.
Yeah, but we have to be here with you. So
It's going to be a good hour, so we can go launch the boat and come back. Yeah.
Okay,
Just leave the top off and drive like hell for about 20 miles and then blow most of it out.
ready to launch on Chickamauga. What's the weather report up in Michigan?
Don, was it?
I think it was cold and wet. Not too bad down here.
Down here at 70 and we're peeling the clothes off.
Pretty nice.
Don and Son backing into the ramp at Chickamauga. Don says, "Where are those fish? Where are they on this big body of water?"
Let me know, Don, if you need anything. Yeah.
Got the plug in?
That's good right there. Yeah. Plug in?
Yeah, plug is in.
Keep backing up. You'll start going on. Okay. Okay.
Hey! Do you remember Mr. Kleindecker? Huh? Do you remember Mr. Whitney?
Well, show us how you get that boat in now.
Okay. This is what? This is Roy Tucker's.
Kind of attach it to the rock.
Roy Tucker's creation. You attach it to the rock, that's what holds it. And then it's the old apartment clothesline treatment.
Oh yeah.
To get this thing going right here. Pull the boat into you.
The anchor is out deeper to kind of hold it out
It's
there.
out deeper with about a about a 5 to 6 foot rope on it. It's tied to a ring. There's another ring attached to the first ring, which is what this rope is sliding through.
Mm-hmm.
It's the old apartment clothesline treatment. It's your anchor stays there. You bring your boat into you. You leave the rope sitting here on the shore. When you return to shore with the boat, you simply tie it and return it back out to its mooring position.
Okay, very good.
Doesn't have one,
So you just untie it there at the bow.
just untie it, yeah. And there you go.
Then, okay,
Just
Jim.
leave it here and then
And when we get back, we just tie that back on.
tie it back
pull
on
it
and
back out.
put it back out into a mooring position. The one thing you want to do is make sure that it's not taut out there when you return it. It has to
Has to have some
have slack in case the water rises or it
Oh, I
it
see.
can ride the
Yeah,
waves.
that's a good point.
Okay, gentlemen.
Jim, jump in. We're going to go and check out the trophy boat.
It's a
40 foot each way.
It's probably it's probably a 50 or a 60 foot clothesline maybe. I suppose 50 foot.
This is a 18 Tahatsu.
99 Tahatsu.
Says 9.9. I think it's supposed to be rated at an 18. It's getting warm out here. Hey, there's a big barge. It's a long one too. Okay, Jim, take me for a ride.
Not bad for a 9.9.
Oh,
14 miles an hour.
what kind of a depth sounder is it?
The Eagle Fish ID. They're a cheaper.
Not as fine detail, huh?
But you can see it, you know, it shows up in the sunlight good. It's telling us here that it's 18 foot, but see, there's the bottom, I guess.
How you doing?
Can't hear you.
Are you getting any fish?
We just got out about 30 minutes ago. We just got one small one.
Okay.
Got 8 yet.
Just got him down there?
Off the island.
How deep you fishing?
Pardon?
How deep down?
We're working 25 feet right now.
Okay.
That ain't Don Rucker in the front.
You gotta smile like a pro.
Trying to get some fish on film here.
Hey,
That's one.
All right.
He had one on up there, I guess.
What they call catching really.
Okay. Way to go.
Way up there.
So this has a double hull on it?
what he said. Instead of having a single thickness hull on the bottom hull itself,
Yeah.
they've got a double thickness. And they did it just in a couple boats for experimental to see if they could get rid of those stress marks that were in the corners.
Seems to have done the job, huh?
On this one I don't see it, but that black one I looked at, and just about any of these boats I've looked at, all got stress marks in that back stern corner, or both of them.
This sure.
Is that down way over there?
I don't know.
Shallows?
Let's check it. Say you got 5 fish? Great. Oh yeah, real good. How deep you catching them?
About 17 feet, aren't they, Sam? Yeah.
Wire line?
No.
Just
700.
700. Good.
Good. We're seeing more fish this way than we are dragging a lure.
Nice job. Thanks.
It was kind of wavy, and I threw the anchor off the back end, and then I left about a 3-foot space that I could jump. So the anchor held the back of the boat in place, and I jumped over to the dock and then tied the front kind of loose, so that held it. But that's kind of a similar setup. But
You missed the dock.
no, that was snowmobile suit and all. There was 54-degree water, baby.
The old apartment clothesline.
Yeah. Now you just tie it to a rock, or to anything.
Or stake it down, or anything.
Yeah.
Way down, I'm thinking this is going to be cold. As you guys bring the boat to Carl, when do you guys bring it over? Right now?
I got the keys to hook it up. Gotta hook up the trailer.
Hello.
Okay, Mike, you got a fish out there, huh?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a sauger.
Let's see.
No white tip on the tail.
No white tip on the tail. Yeah, to me that's nice for it. Boy.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
a
got the
nice
spots on, kind of.
Yeah, that's a sauger.
Okay.
Yeah, if they don't have that little white tip on the tail at the bottom, they ain't a walleye. They're not a walleye.
17 feet on a 700, huh? Okay. Better hang on to him there. He's, now that, see, there's no tip on, no white on the tail there. Okay. Yeah, I'd say that's definitely a sauger, and with the pad. What?
I make them out of tubing, 1 1/4 square tubing, and also, you know, there's times that you want it to roll over a little bit, so I put a piece of pipe up in that square tubing and put a set screw up here. I can run the umbrella this way. But now you can't run that way. You put it up, John. That's it.
Yeah,
What kind of material is that one made out of there?
What is this
that's
stuff?
PVC. It's just plastic.
Oh, just plastic?
Yeah.
How is it attached to the chair?
Epoxy. Epoxy.
No, he epoxied it, but there's two
Screws
brass
in it?
screws through there.
Oh.
Okay. He took the back off here,
Yeah.
pushed the seat out,
He
put the
took
screws
this,
through.
yeah, he took that off.
Okay.
Huh.
I mean, that's fine. If that's what you want to do, like you can do, but I don't want me none of that.
Drill 2 holes through there, and they come through.
From the other, he took the seat off and then
Yeah,
put 2
he took
screws
this
in.
bracket off the seat.
Now, how do they get those plastic fittings? I mean, is that a set fitting,
Well,
or
that's that. He made them.
make them
He made
custom?
them
Okay.
and
just
selling
fit.
them.
Now, how does he? Oh, I see. He attaches it on the bottom one with that knurled knob there.
Fit up to that one.
Just tightens it right on that bottom part of it.
It don't. It's just a little extra because it goes in there so tight it would never come out. Heck, you couldn't get that out of there.
Hmm. Well, that's pretty neat trick there.
It is. This is
It
good.
doesn't get in the way a lot.
This is the way they.
That's the way they come.
Before, yeah.
Okay. Those are the brass screws, so you can just install them yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, so he manufactures them right here, huh?
Well, wherever he did it.
Did them in my garage.
In your
I started
garage.
to say probably a company government job.
No, as a matter of fact, it was not. The first one was. The prototype was, yeah.
Okay, now you're drilling the holes for him?
Uh-huh.
He's installing a couple of them.
Okay. So you take the brackets right off the chair, and you drill them right here.
Right.
Okay. Now you do it. You use those as a template when you
No, this is the bracket. I
use the template on the instructions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
But some of these brackets he's finding out are all a little different, you know.
Yeah. Right.
But
Okay.
Gentlemen, how are you?
But since he's here, he's making adjustments for that.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Now you're putting some silicone on it?
Yes. It's
You could
really
put epoxy or anything else, couldn't you? Or
well, yeah, you could. It's a PVC to aluminum. Now you could use anything. It's just that I didn't want the brass screws and the PVC to be the sole
Holder?
holder of the bracket. Because you know, that'll strip out fairly easy, I'm afraid.
Just enlarging that hole a little bit?
Just elongating it because it's not lining up exactly right. So.
Okay. So,
Full adjustment.
yeah, it's got to be a little bigger than that screw you put in.
Well, I do that so you can have some adjustment.
Ah. Okay, you got the one part on. Now you're going to put the other.
Put the top bracket on.
Okay. Okay, so you got that mounted, both of those parts mounted on it. Now, how does that set on the chair? Just like it is right now?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much so.
That's the back is facing out. Oh yeah, that's the post, and then you tighten it on the bottom like that.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Hey, that looks nice. Then you just reinstall that back on the chair.
Stick it right back on the chair right now.
Okay, just set her right down on the chair. And
you gonna do both seats?
Mm-hmm.
that's looks like it'd be pretty sturdy because it's attached to both parts of that chair then.
Yeah, the only drawback that I've found so
Chair
far
down
is
when you want to go.
you have to pull the umbrella out to lower the to lay the
To
seat.
lower the chair. Okay.
All there is to it.
Oh yeah. Well, that looks nice. But you take the post out and then you can lower the chair, and
Then you just
it's not much to take it out. You just unloosen that little screw, that little knurled knob there. Okay. Thanks. That's a neat unit. You say you make them to sell, huh?
yes.
Okay.
Installing them in the spin plug buds.
Okay.
No, what I did was I drilled the hole and I put the pipe in, and then I drilled 3 holes, and I've got vertical screws going down, and it's holding it from going in and out.
But you can't see it with that on.
And that, where do you get that, you know, that fitting there? Is that in an RV
It comes
place?
from our RV store.
Just slides,
Yeah.
slides open, and then you put your rods in there.
Well, no.
Or
just
your
umbrellas.
pole, your umbrellas.
Yeah.
Okay. Could that be a rod holder too?
No, it's not long enough for rod holders. The boat's not long.
Oh, I see. Okay. Tell
But you'd have to pin it. If you don't pin it, the wind can whip it.
Wind can pick it right up.
Pick it
Tell me
right up.
about that stick steering. Now, how do you set that up? You buy? I've never seen that before.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth
I'll
it.
tell you, don't buy it. I took care of that.
Well, you like it though, don't you?
It can break. I've had 3 break already.
Oh,
and
okay.
I would recommend it to nobody.
It's just for your particular situation and wanting to be up in the
Yeah, to get away from it.
the motor noise
The noise of the motor.
when you're talking. Okay. Okay.
A little
Okay.
tight, so.
Huh.
But the cables broke on 3 of them already.
Oh.
And
Okay.
to me, that thing,
That's not.
that
No.
breaks at 30 mile an hour.
You're in trouble.
I'm
Big
in
trouble.
Big troubles.
Okay. Walgreens, Sam's,
Walgreens, Sam,
Kmart,
Service Merchandise,
Myers,
all
they
around
got
the
'em.
south and the Florida area carries them. I don't
and
know.
Kmart.
But- Might be hard to find them now because they're stocking all winter stuff.
Yeah,
in there.
that's true.
How much?
What's that?
No, for the umbrellas.
$10.
For the umbrellas.
They're about 15 to 20 bucks.
Yeah, about 15.
15, 18.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got 2.
Buy them at a flea
If
market.
you're interested in them, I've got 2.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's all I've got left. This is the short one now. I'll take pictures.
These are Fuji handles we have now, and they're guaranteed for life. Really, the expense of our rods is in the handles. Handles are about $22.
That's a nice sign up there. Is that
That's one of Mike's.
one of Mike's? Okay. That's nice.
He did the round part last year for Jamboree, and then this part for Chicago.
Oh yeah.
That's just the...
It don't take long for them to go up, no. $5 a lure is, 20 lures.
It's like a commercial show for Kmart. You can't ever have enough.
I probably got a ton of them home, but I still don't remember like having one of those.
That steelhead, how much does that weigh?
15 pounds.
15 pounds. Hey, that's good. All right.
cushion for my whoops.
Is he full of eggs?
How's that?
Now, what does the steelhead have inside it? What if you had to gut it? What would happen?
A couple of diet
A couple of direct calls.
That's full of a couple passes to Manistee Lake on.
Yeah, I can hardly wait. That's what I'm looking for. One just
All
about
right.
that size.
Name of this East.
Copied already. I heard one
You better believe it.
I'm working on it. I'm trying to find all the pieces of the die.
Yeah.
But I've been so busy since I've been up
I
there.
told
I haven't
Frank.
had a chance. That's
I
all
told
it is.
Frank if he ever get any, I'll take $1,000 worth.
The dies were separated, taken apart, and the die sets were used for something else. But I think I found, I'm in the pile of the old pieces now. But then I got off of that. I didn't start looking as soon as I left you guys.
Yeah. Now, what,
So
these
if
are
I know that I'll have to make the female,
okay.
and I know I may have to make the male. The male is it all depends on what I can find. Because I do know that I use either one of them I cut down to make the 700 out of. So I'll have to make one part of the die, but I can turn out die like a popcorn.
Hey,
Mr. Perry, could you tell me about that three-ringed one? Why did you originally design that way?
Well, I designed a lure so that I can control depth, and I designed one at a time. So that 100, you see, got 3 loops.
Yeah.
Well, I knew the depths that I'd have to check on depth, on the troll and cast. And I only had one lure, so I had to control 3 depths to be sure that I sprayed the water at those depths. And so what it actually amounted to was back one was a 100, next 200, and next 250. Controlling the depth. Then when I moved over here, you see the 200, I went down to 250, and then pretty soon I made 250 get to 400, and I made 400 and then 500. In other words, but by the time I got my depths on each one of the lures, I was able to do away with the others. That allowed the fisherman to control his depth by size.
Okay.
And that's the way I did it.
I've heard of you.
And of course, I worked in California, a lot of places.
You don't know Mike Eastep makes that
Now that big lure on the end, is that one that you made as a stock?
I live in Rock Island.
Boy, how long is that?
I've got a lot of lures signed by famous people. Bucks signed.
But the one, it didn't sell with the tangle hook very much, so I changed the die a little bit, put a big stationary hook on it, then it started
right
selling.
in between Macmillan and Sparta on
Because
Highway 7.
saltwater people like to just jerk at
Rough
it.
and well between Nash and Chattanooga on Highway 7.
They get a treble hook in there and they can't get it out.
How deep did that go?
Well, not too deep.
Yeah, Clarence was at my house last year.
You didn't want it to go too deep in the ocean anyway. You could run a line, let it sink, you get to 30, 35 feet, and you was okay. You'll catch more, let's say, sailfish at the 30, 35 feet than you will on surface.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, sure. It is exactly the same.
You can go as fast with a spoon plug, not too many other lures.
This will go fast, don't get me wrong, but it also go slow. You can go slow with that because a lot of those party boats didn't go very fast, so I made it that way, a little straight, and then I reduced the lip so it wouldn't give so much drag. I didn't have to go. You can let it sink. You're going to mess up that lure.
If you put Buck says this time, spell it right. You put Buck S-A-Y-S on one plug, and the way to spell says S-E-Z.
They won't give me any credit for it, though.
I didn't write that yet.
Yes, you did.
I didn't do no such thing.
I got the plug at home. Let's see.
Well, you send it in, that's a call.
You brought that copper one
I
2
don't
years
sell
ago,
them.
right? Over here?
No, that's
That,
sitting on it.
that big copper one he brought here 2 years ago, though, to show us.
This one right here.
Oh, you remember that?
Yeah, because you were asking him if you thought that might be an original one. He says, well, I think I might, but I'm not sure.
You boys ever read this article here?
Or somebody was copying me. That's about what it was. So I don't claim that one.
Right here?
I say,
Oh, he's already signed
I
that.
didn't test my lures with,
No, I left him at home. I just can't think of everything. Look there, Buck, that old wooden boat there. Are you in a directory? Yeah. You got a card? I'll write you a letter.
I ain't got anything there.
Well, just write it on a piece of paper or something.
Remember Don and Tommy had these up in Canada in 79.
Those Nukes, huh?
They had that first, yeah.
Huh.
Before Browning come out with that instruction locator.
You boys read that thing right there, y'all just look at the pictures.
What thing?
What, this one?
That? Yeah, right.
Some kind of
You need 30-pound test.
yeah,
Pull it.
yeah, time my money, everything else, that thing.
What kind of fish is it?
This is bass.
Bass, okay. That looks good.
Frank Hamill. Okay, did everybody turn their name tags in? You need your name tags in for the drawing for the spoon plugs and the shadow boxes. If you did not turn your name tag in, you do not have an opportunity to get one of these shadow boxes that has the spoon plugs in it. Everybody got your name tags in? If that was Dennis, I can't hear you. Very first thing of order is very simply there will be a gentleman passing among you who will intimidate you. What? Everybody's pointing. That's why. It's written down, Dennis. It's written down, Dennis. Mrs. Morosky last year told us, and I know several of you heard this, but there's a lot here that have not. Mrs. Morosky last year told us that she would donate to us one of her handmade quilts that she has worked all year long and donated to Spoon Pluggers of America as a project for us to have additional money for our jamboree. She has done this, and we're selling raffle tickets for raffling it off. Dennis Lampier, some gentleman to your right here, is going to pass among you and try to get money out of your pocket for this raffle. The tickets are $1 each. You get 6 tickets for $5, and you get 12 tickets for $10. Appreciate this. The funds go that Morosky's have donated this to us, and again, the funds go to the Jamboree Fund of Spoon Pluggers of America, and it can't do nothing but help us, and we need all the help. Those prices went up on us again this year on a number of items. I want to welcome you to this is our 5th annual Spoon Pluggers Jamboree. It's our national jamboree. And every year I've got up in front of people and I have told the same story, and I'm going to continue to tell the same story because I want you to know what this is all about and how it all got started. Everybody here that is a spoon plugger that's worked hard of it owes a debt of gratitude to this gentleman over here, Mr. Perry. No matter whether we buy his merchandise, no matter whether we buy his books, which is one way of saying thank you, that really does not. I mean, let's face it, he took hours and hours and hours to compile this, and years and years and years, and he spends hours, and his people spend hours and hours and hours making his merchandise, and they make, I'm sure, a profit on it. But that does not, in any way whatsoever, free the debt of gratitude that any of us have for the enjoyment of all the hours and hours and hours that we receive from spoon plugging, much less all of the deep family lessons that we've learned. And as far as I'm concerned, a good Christian attitude that is expressed between one person to the other, because it started like that from the top and we're continuing all the way down to the bottom. And that's the lessons that Mr. Perry has taught us. And we can't repay that. A number of years ago, he decided that that was it. I guess everybody wants to retire, and he closed the doors to Spoon Pluggers, or to Buck's Baits. And he shut the plug on a number of different things at that time. The Chattanooga Spoon Pluggers got together and was having one of our outings. And there was 11 or 12 of us. We sit around down here at Hamilton County Park, and I was very fortunate to have an association with Mr. Perry prior to that time. And I asked Mr. Perry if he would like to come to the outing that we were having, which was on a Friday and a Saturday night. And Mr. Perry came. He was not under pressure to perform. He was not under pressure to catch fish. He was able to just come as a spoon plugger and fish along with us because he had been to several of our meetings, and we were fortunate to have him around a lot of times where a lot of people have never got to meet the man. And while we were sitting there, we all agreed that, hey, let's do this next year. It was a good time. The next year we had, if I remember correct, it was, I'm thinking 52 people that showed up. What, ma'am? No, that's the first jamboree. The second time that we got together, there was 35 to 50 of us, and there's a pile of us that they found out that Mr. Perry was going to be down there, and they piled into our little Chattanooga get-together. And one person who did not have any foresight spoke up and opened his mouth and said, well, look, if we can do this for 35 or 50, let's do it for the world. And we turned the information into Fishing Facts magazine, and Carl Moss and Mr. Pazik were very nice enough, and they put an advertisement. We had our first Spoon Pluggers Jamboree. And that was the one wherever all of you guys, this bunch of you who's been here for 5 years, came, and basically what we did was got together and talked, and they cornered Mr. Perry, and we ended up going to Hickson High School that they were nice enough to let us have, and Mr. Perry gave us a presentation, which was the first time that most of the people ever got to shake his hand. And from that point, Spoon Pluggers of America has been reactivated. There's been several different forms of it, and that's where we are at this point in time right now with Spoon Pluggers of America. So it's growing and growing. But that's how it got started. I want you to know that's how it got started. I want you to tell anybody that comes that's how it gets started, because if you don't know where you're coming from and how you got to where you are, you're never going to be able to get back. And we need to constantly, with spoon plugging, go back to our roots, go back to basic fundamentals, and go back to what we're taught to be able to succeed in the future. So I'll constantly hit you with that every year. I'll hit you with it every year. Want to thank you. I've said this over and over again. There was nothing in my life that's ever trained me to be in a position where I have to talk in front of people and say thank yous and everything, and I goof all the time, and I've done it every year, and I've got a lot of people that's hesitant from this. I want to say that our thank yous, because what has happened to you so far is a lot of people doing a lot of work, and the ones that's really worked the hardest at this point is Sam Pickett, Tom Smith, and Bart Barton. And they have cooked for us now 2 meals. They cooked what you saw, besides what our caterer, and I'm very thankful for our caterer, but they cooked all of our fish that you had tonight of all the different kinds, and they cooked the deep fried turkeys. Where's Sam? I was up this morning at 5 o'clock cutting those fish up. And trust me, that's how much work goes into this. To our check-in ladies, there are a number of our check-in ladies. I wish you would please. Let me tell you, these gals are not prepared for this. They get locked into this job if they are done in a very efficient manner for us. I mean, they have checked everybody in for us in a very efficient manner. They're not. They didn't. Oh, really? Well, I want to see these guys that's trying to sneak in. These are very funny. The men stand up first. I want to see who you are. All right, there's that close. Okay, I trust you. Bill Bannon, don't worry about it. Hey, I know his wife. It's all right. The ladies that on the check-in and be heaven tomorrow, would you please stand up? We appreciate you. Gene, I know you're there. Teresa, stand up. Come on, come on. All the ladies, stand up. We got a gentleman in the audience that there has almost become a subject now which I'm getting ill with, but I'm not going to lecture anybody. I keep hearing this value thing come up, and it just doesn't bother me. I'm going to get past it. We are very fortunate. All these people that are doing this, there's nobody making, and I'm going to explain this again, there's nobody making any money off of Spoon Pluggers of America. Your $25 that you pay into Spoon Pluggers of America goes in for your newsletters that you're getting. There's no equipment that is paid for out of this. There are no people making incomes or taking money out of our funds for Spoon Pluggers of America. Last year, I asked the people that was here for Spoon Pluggers of America if we had a surplus of funds from our membership drives, would you prefer to either lower the rates on Spoon Pluggers of America, or would you prefer for any surplus that comes in to go towards educational purposes and eventually us getting a school, a university, a training place? At that time, everybody said, let's get a school. That we have a small amount of surplus this year, and those monies, because that's what everybody wanted last year, and I want to know, do you still want education to be used for any surplus of money? Is that what we want? $25 for a magazine or what? Look, people, we've got a person in the audience right now that has been so good to us. His name is Ned Sanders. Ned is our friend. Ned does our Spoon Pluggers directory for us, which if you remember was in color, has all of our names, and he will do it this year. It does not cost us a penny. He does this out of his pocket. That didn't cost Spoon, and people want to work with $25. Here's a man right here that's putting in hundreds of dollars. Ned gives us a discount on our newsletters, and I've had several people come to me and salesmen are always working, wanting to know, can I get this business? Let me show you what we can do for prices. I let one of them have it one day. It would cost us $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 to get out our newsletters because we do not advertise. There's no advertising. All we have is pages with very little white in them. I mean, we fill that newsletter up with good information. I don't like spaces. I like to crowd it up and get as much in there as I can because that's what you're wanting is information. Ned does this for us nearly every month, and it runs something every 2 months. It runs somewhere around $400, and we get like 800 newsletters. Hey, Ned, we appreciate you, and stand up, please. I don't have blood pressure, but I think that's what that is when I start hearing this sometimes. I don't know, I don't always put things in the right manner, so I have to talk. When I write these little articles in the newsletter, I mean, it's coming the way that this country brain, educated person gets things out. If you understand what I'm saying, then you know you're on a lower level than I'm at. So if that makes sense. I'm at a higher level of low than what a lot of people are when they're at the lowest level of low. We have two fellas that helped us out this year that, and I have to think of it in terms of the way I think. And sometimes you've got young bulls that's kind of knocking at the gate, that's wanting to kind of be let out to the herd and kind of get their own range going a little bit. And what boils down to what we used to call was cream rises to the top. Well, we have two guys that gave us 2 talks this year, and this is our future. We need people teach spoon plugging. We need people spreading the word. We need people that are deeply involved in spoon plugging. We had two fellows. Jim Shell last year gave us our starter spoon plugger speech, and this year he did the same thing for us. He doesn't get anything for this, except he gets to work a bunch of hours to be able to get the opportunity to sit up in front of you, so if you walk away and criticize it, he can hear your wonderful criticism. The other fellow is Bob Rose Jr., and Bob did not, I'm not sure, but I really don't think Bob was going to be able to come this year. And I slipped to him. I just talked to him and I said, look, we need a spot turned in, whatever on this line. The silver thumb suit flare just slid right in there and just slid this board right on down here, and we got it down, we got it for a top. If you appreciate Bob Rose Jr., Jim Shell, who's been there for There's an you just do not realize, Mr. Perry came, we had our Muskegon out. I mean, do you realize? Pickwick this last year. Pickwick, think about Pickwick now. Think about this, people. If you did not go to Pickwick, I know you are suffering. There's no question in my mind at all. We've got some guys that's hearts are wrenched up. That when they saw that newsletter and they saw those pictures, it was this. I know their children, but Pickwick didn't cost you a penny. Pickwick was a ball. Pickwick, you had a good time. Pickwick was an event that was put on by the Bama boys. They invited us down there. And look, 2 7-pound smallmouth. 2 7-pound smallmouth. I think there were 6 6-pounders. I don't know how many 5s and 4s. I mean, this is smallmouth. Spoon pluggers catch fish, and we release a lot. Muskegon trip, real tough. Cold front came through. All these guys coming in, this, by the second day, everybody had already figured out they were down there 32 to 40 feet deep. Next thing you know, fish was coming in 32 to 40 feet deep. Do you realize what 32 to 42 feet deep is? Do you realize the ability? Do you realize the concept? Do you realize that most people in this world don't know that there's water below 10 feet deep? I mean, you know, in ours, okay, they broke it. They cracked it as far as I'm concerned. There's a lot of fish that's caught. Down in Florida, Jeannie Barton, Florida Spoon Pluggers, sponsored an open club event, which was going to be for 15 or 20 people. It ended up being 80, 90, or 100 people. Everybody want to run down to Florida. I cannot understand anybody want to go to Florida personally myself. It's too hot down here, and I think y'all all stay home. But at any rate, there was 80 or 90 down there. We were in a rough situation as far as the fact that there are 5 different agencies in Florida, and all of them think they own the same lakes, and they're fighting with each other on who gets to do all the killing out in the lakes for the weeds. And they were spraying a number of different chemicals into the lakes, which did not cause the fish to be very active. But there was fish all over the place. This is part of your $25. This is part of everybody getting together and these relationships are formed, and these are benefits. If you don't take advantage of these, you lose. You lose. At the Muskegon trip, from the point that Mr. Perry left, which was July 18th, he went back home, and he has not worked that much at Bucks Baits, which that may be good for the Bucks Baits personnel. I might say some headlock, because he started in on his presentation. And he has been working now for about 6 to 7 weeks on his presentation, which he's going to give to you tomorrow, which after you eat your $9 worth of food is going to cost you nothing. And this man has spent 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks out of his life memorizing and preparing hundreds of slides, which he pitched through to get 8, 10, or 12, or 20 to show you. You just don't realize how much time that this man puts in to making you and me successful. And tomorrow when he gives his presentation, it will be like his presentation last year, and every presentation I've ever seen. It will be total, and it will be complete, and it will be exact. I'm preaching. I've got on here to say thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Perry. I mean, like, thank you, Mr. Perry. 5 years of evolution, and I finally got down to where I take notes so I don't mess up. And it's taken 5 years to get me this morning. There's a lady out in the audience that has I am not a nice person. I have this personification that I try to express. But what y'all don't realize is there's this little devil over on my left shoulder that's always squawking. The little angel ends up saying, "Okay, Frank, be nice." But this little devil is saying, "Get him, shut him up, tell him where to go." Well, y'all don't get the little devil, but there's a lady in the audience that does. And there's an awful lot of work goes into this, an awful lot of hours spent into this. And to keep a family harmonious, happy, loving relationship, it takes 2 people that are congenial with each other, and I'm not always that way. I may present myself as being that way, but the thing is, she knows better, and I've got to thank my wife. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say, I love my wife and bring flowers, but my wife has had to put up a lot. So I thank my wife, and she's working a lot. Now, last year I was terribly embarrassed. I will not be embarrassed at all. There's a lot of eyes in this. Anytime you hear me talk, a lot of eyes come out. I don't know how to say it any other way. I have a list of all of our clubs. Now, bear in mind, last year I couldn't memorize 11 or 12 of them. But this year I've got all 23. Now, we have increased almost twice our size. I will say to you right now, that still is not enough. We need more clubs. I have come to the conclusion, I'm going to tell you straight out as it were, we have 659 members in Spoon Pluggers of America as of last year, 694 is what we call it, but as of June. We have now about 210 that did not renew. I don't know why. It breaks my heart. I work so, pardon the expression, damn hard on this. I just cannot begin to believe that we're we're not given a good enough package out there. But at any rate, we have 200 some odd people. I suspicion today, after talking with many of you, and I've heard many theories on this, and all of a sudden it hit me in my database, I probably have the answer at home and my computer's going to tell it to me. But under the column, we have first name, last name, spouse, address, state, telephone number, when you joined, when you renewed, how much you paid, and then we have this little thing called club. And we ask each of our members to tell us what club you're in. I have a suspicion that when I go home and run a sort on this database, and that's where you sort things out, the computer tells you how many this, how many that these 200 members that did not renew are not members of clubs. And if they are not members of clubs, then that means that there's 200 people out there that are potential spoon pluggers that doesn't have anybody else to talk to. And they are lonely people, and they think they're paying $25 for 6 newsletters to come out and a phone directory, and they get a boat decal and a patch, and they don't know anything else than that. Otherwise, it looks like some other people are catching fish. Now, this is a failure on my part, and I humbly apologize to you, but I'm going to sub you in on this and tell you it's a failure on your part too. Because if there's people out there, and if you're out there and you're by yourself, look people, start a club if you're not already in a club. I am thoroughly convinced that Mr. Perry can go out, if he could live for another 100 years and go around town to town to town to town to town and get people into spoon plugging, that his base will end up being his clubs that are formed. That is the cement that holds all of us together. That is the family element that starts at the very beginning. So if you're not in a club, get a club started. Don't be alone if you're one of those that are. I think most of the people here are in clubs. I don't know. I appreciate our clubs. A lot of you people do not realize that our clubs are sending out newsletters. These newsletters, some of them are funny. Some of them have some real funny people to work with. I'm one of those. I've been real fortunate. Some of them, we have all different varieties of newsletters. Whatever we got, we have the newsletter, and I appreciate it so much, and I'm not going to bring one out more than another, but Walt Oldendorf is here, Orangedorf, and he writes just a down-home style newsletter that I just thoroughly enjoy reading every time. It's just so relaxing to read it. The Lumber Hunters have a very classy newsletter that has good information. It's a factual style, and then they'll have a punchline in it too. And Gene Zimmerman and his group up there, their newsletter has always got a joke. And we've got all these varieties. Anybody that's not in a club is missing out on these newsletters, because these newsletters are going club to club. But every one of them have lessons in them. Every one of them have lessons in them. I haven't seen one that there is lessons you can't learn from it. Start a club. I don't care if it's just a handwritten note one way or the other. Let's get on the mailing list and get some of the information going. Enough advertising. The clubs that we have here, I'd like for the representatives of those clubs to please stand up. Bama Boys, please stand up. I appreciate it. This coming year, we're going to change the date. So it's going to be 1 week later. We found out that we're going to be there on Easter weekend, so we don't want to do that. So we'll be the weekend after. It'll be in the national newsletter. You'll have it. Bucks Boys. How many we got here from Bucks Boys? Lacrosse. This is our new. Wait. This is our next to do it, because somebody just formed right behind him. Lacrosse. Mike Gillis and his group. Mike Gillis with a GIL here. I haven't said where they're from. Bama Boys, of course, Alabama. Most of them are Huntsville. Bucks Boys all over Georgia. Lacrosse is Lacrosse. West, Michigan. Lacrosse.
Someplace up
Wisconsin.
north. Someplace up north.
What?
Someplace up north.
I'd say dog. Wisconsin. Lumber Hunters, Michigan. I don't believe anybody had been here for 5 years. Maybe Jim. Did you been here all? Have you been all 5 years, Jim? Okay. I know Chase is, because Chase was my first name. Flying Stecker. I said, give these earrings to Mr. Perry and get my name right. What? Klein Stecker. I kept saying Klein Stecker. I was, by the time I got up there with Klein Stecker. Trophy Spoon Pluckers. Now, that Trophy Spoon Pluckers is not actually a club. This is Bob Turzak, and Bob Turzak is as far as I'm concerned, he's a peach, a honey, and this boat that he's got. I like the boat, but Bob, every time that he's sold a boat to somebody they're not a spoon plugger, he has donated and bought them a membership in Spoon Pluggers of America. As far as I'm concerned, the man is a walking, talking club. Bob, stand up. I got a Spoon Pluggers. You've already seen them around plenty. How many we got? Gert, who's Gertie? Okay, Knoxville Spoon Pluggers. Matt Ray, Knoxville Spoon Pluggers that you're seeing right here in front of you, full out of coffee. Knoxville Spoon Pluggers coffee. I've got on here Renegade Spoon Pluggers. You know who that is. Anybody been around here knows who Renegade is. Ohio Spoon Pluggers. That's one of our good cooks, Tommy Flo. By the way, it is FLO, not FLOW. Somebody keeps spelling it the wrong way. 6 of you, that's a long way to go too. Northern Indiana Spoon Plugger. This club got some good fishing in it. Illinois Spoon Plugger. Now, Illinois Spoon Plugger's got about 40 or 50 members. Oh yeah. They got a big club up there. We're hoping they will find themselves and propagate. Is that a good word? I like that. Oh, propagate. I like that. I started to use those other ones and I thought, no. Okay, I did Michigan Spoon Pluggers Jackson chapter. I was standing up, okay, good. Farmer Bob, and you talk about desire, he had angioplasty, which is what we call, I call it balloon surgery, on the 24th. This is what? Monday? I can't help but say this, but if you've ever been around one particular Georgia boy, every time you see him, he's always grinning. Now, we know who this is. Larry, I'm not going to make Larry stand up. Larry's one of the happy person. But every time I look at the Norlina Club, you cannot imagine these pictures. I mean, Jimmy O'Connell was down there today and I was ragging on him. You know, Southern people try to touch the heart of the other person in a different manner than, let's say that our northern cousins. We feel like that we're supposed to kind of jerk somebody around a little bit, twist them a little bit, and kind of get you. But Jimmy didn't know what time. They keep sending me these pictures, and they've got 39-pound catfish that they catch on a 250. 30, that's a flathead. That's just one. I'm talking about, I'm getting all kind of pictures. 28-pound blue catfish, 9.5-pound largemouth, 8.5-pound largemouth, a wall. I mean, we're talking about a garage where they got these nails, and here they are sitting out there, all of these bass, and this is where we're going. This is the Falls River. They're blessed with water over there. They're catching all kinds of fish, and they have invited us to their territory. And this is Falls River, and first thing I want to tell you, right off the bat, you don't want to miss Falls River Reservoir Network, which is taking place November 4th and 7th. I'd like to see a show of hands how many people that thinks are going to be there, because little boys like to know how many hot dogs you fix. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, that's 20 of the group that we've got right here. Count Teresa and I, 20, 21, 22, 23. Count Teresa and I, that's 25.
Where is it, Frank?
This is November 4th through the 7th. This is Falls River Reservoir, which is, and everybody is going to get a map. Well, you did. You got a map when you checked in. Plus, there's going to be a map in our, if we can fit it in there, this next newsletter that's coming out, you'll have a map how to get there. Approximately 10 or 15 miles east of Durham, North Carolina. Now, there's a lot of us that have already planned and are going to be there for a week. So we're going to take a week of, and I don't know why, because they're not catching any fish, and you wouldn't want to spend a week in this place. But anyway, we're going to be there for a week, so if you want to come for a week, we're going to be there for a week. Maybe go down to Santee Cooper where they're catching all these big catfish. If you want to catch, 20, 30 pound catfish on your 12, 15 pound catfish line, have your arms goes around, you both go around the lake. It's a place to do it. And Jimmy on the telephone, I was talking to him, and I said, well, Jimmy, what's going on? He said, well, Steve and I went over there the other day and said we had a halfway good day. So Steve got one 9, 8, and 8 pounds, 7 ounces, and got one. He said, I think he got one 7. He said, I had 5 fish that was 40 some odd pounds. He said, and then, we had a good week before we went over there and said 2 of us caught 82 pounds. And he said, we think it might be right by the time y'all get there. But he said, we're not getting into the big fish. Well, people, let's just go over there and help them out. North Carolina Club, stand up. Now, I'm not going to say that I like newsletter, but I like the way Mr. Armstrong walked right. And that's Pennsylvania Spoon Pluggers, if you'll stand up, please. You didn't have your hat on. By the way, the Michigan Spoon Pluggers Jackson chapter, there's the Michigan Spoon Pluggers, which is a break off of that, which is the Lumber Runners, which I was confused on. There are Michigan Spoon Pluggers, which is the Jackson chapter, and there is also the Leone Club. But I believe John's Morning and the boys made it this year. Is anybody here from Leone? They didn't make it this year. They've been here nearly every year. Something had to happen. Maybe they're. That's the Leone, L-E-O-N-I. I don't know where that, I guess that's a town, isn't it? Town, okay. See, I'm doing this so well that you're not able to do all this. That was nice, wasn't it? Now here's a Dallas Spoon Plugger. We're talking about Dallas, Texas. It's confusing when you look at Dallas, Texas, because they have this name Texas across there, and I didn't realize that those borders being so far out there that meant that was the whole state. Bob Briggs said, he said, Frank, Dallas is a big place, and I said Texas is a big place. I kept saying, well, there's just a small border around Texas. I didn't realize that whole area. I couldn't understand why he didn't know people that was 3,000 miles away and still living in his neighborhood. Dallas Spoon Plugger, please stand up. Second year brought his wife in, Raylene, which we got. I'm glad Raylene's coming to pick up this thing. And Bob, you've been here 5 years. See, very quiet. There's 2 years why you got to meet Bob, I believe. It's freshman. Well, now, we plan to be here for a bunch more years. Minnesota Spoon Pluggers. They got. Are you here? We got Minnesota Spoon Pluggers, don't we? Where are Minnesota Spoon Pluggers?
It's still on their way.
Well, it's a long way. Okay. Maybe there's more. Mobile Spoon Pluggers. We got 2 here from Mobile, Alabama. I enjoy this. Somebody cornered me, and this is terrible to say this because I do the newsletter. And since I'm doing the newsletter, I'm seeing it week after week after week, day after day. I'm living with it. And somebody said the other day, asked me a question, Sam Jones, and he was asking me this thing about sticking a rod down the water. I said, it's not in there. It's not in there. I did not do that. He said, no. And then finally I saw Harold over there. Now Harold calls me once a week. And Harold picks through the newsletter. And not only does he pick through it, he studies it. And if you're wrong on something, Harold's my censor. Harold's going to find it. But I try to make it awful. I put a lot of effort so Harold can't catch me. But I was stuck. And when Sam was asking that question, I said, well, wait a minute, here, we'll settle this. Harold, you tell him, is this in the book or not? And Sam explained it. He said, Harold said, oh yeah, that's in the book says. Well, the book says I scan in, I don't have to type that in, so I didn't have that memory bank. But I knew he did, but he did. He did. He's sharp, they learned. Here's a good newsletter, Fox Valley. Here's a good newsletter. Jim Zimmer, right? Where's Jim? Say again? Yellow cap at any rate, didn't want to stand up. Maybe he ate too much, I don't know. We didn't go, I don't believe we have anybody here from the northeast from Florida. This is around New Jersey and that way. We do have Barry Zoriano. Barry here. But Barry, you haven't got a club, but he comes from, you don't have a club here. I'm not aware of it. It comes from Connecticut. Connecticut's a long ways to come. And by the way, I'm told that before you all leave, we don't think there is any fish in Connecticut. I understand this boy has a pitcher album of the fish that he's catching. And I won't say it myself. I've heard about it. I've already had two people come out and say, oh, seen the fishing? I didn't know we had fish in Maine. I didn't know that. I hadn't been there. Leone, I said, Decatur spoon pluckers. Who's here from Decatur? I know we got some Decatur people, don't we? He didn't make it. Dennis was supposed to come. Dennis came. Boy, I hope nothing's wrong. By the way, to get the word out on, here goes the blank. Arkansas had a sugar problem. Wasn't able to make it. Okay. Somebody was asking me, so-and-so was supposed, say again. Don Tillman. Don was not able to make it. He got some type of a rash, and he has bad sugar diabetes, and they gave him whatever it is for the rash, and it caused his sugar to be off, and he wasn't able to come. And he, on the phone, you could tell he was disappointed. Don really enjoyed this, and everybody think about Don. He's having a problem. Okay, last but not least, in this, there's nobody here from the Huron Valley, but we have a club affiliated with us, which is Huron Valley Fishing Friends. And this is Minnesota, isn't it, Chase?
Michigan.
Is it Michigan? I got this phone call from Glenn Williams, and I think he's a spoon plugger, and he wanted to have their club affiliated with Spoon Pluggers of America. And as it turns out, they are all college professors, and you know, for a college professor to understand my colorful language, you know, I figured the boy had to be pretty sharp. They wanted to be affiliated with us, so they get our newsletters, and we're getting some spoon pluggers out of that. But I don't believe there's anybody here from the Huron Valley. Okay, let's have a drawing. Ma'am, I'm sorry.
Did you mention Milwaukee spoon plugger? Isn't that the one what's the name? What's the boy's name? Doug, where are you?
Did I miss?
Yeah, I think maybe he didn't tell you. Tell him. Oh, it's Milwaukee.
Well, what have we got another club?
Wisconsin.
Well, boy, I think that's great. How about if I did this? The Chattanooga Spoon Pluggers were not able to perform today. Unfortunately, they had somebody that we had 2 boats that went in the water today, so we didn't have the on the water, and we took the fellows who were the novices, and we had a preaching, a healing, you know, and the silver-tongued soothsayer from the Silver City slimed his way over all of them and slithered them out. We had a talk down there, but the Chattanooga boys are ready and prepared. And the Chattanooga boys are, of course, part of getting all this together. The on the water is really where we need them the most, and that's what they're there for all of you. There's some sharp bunch of fishermen. This is a club of which I'm familiar with. I would like the Chattanooga Spoon Pluggers to please stand up, and I'll apologize. This may help some of you just one little bitty bit. Let me explain something that we started, and this, we'll probably discuss it a little bit more, but we started something a year ago, which was a beginner's spoon pluggers club, where we invited people that were interested in spoon plugging to come to our club meeting and join us. We found that all of our old guys that had been there for a long time wanted to talk at an upper level, and it was kind of intimidating to a new guy to come in because we had a class distinction, a level distinction. So we started what we called a starters club and had 3 or 4 meetings, and then I would invite in one of the Chattanooga boys once a month for him to field questions from the new guys for about 4 or 5 or 6 months to where they weeded themselves in and got to know the old guys. And we've got a bunch of new spoon pluggers that are coming in from this method. That seems to be working. So if you want some additional information on this, we're having a class tomorrow on how to start a spoon plugger club, and this will be brought up. This will be brought up in the club on how, and this got us an additional, I believe, 6 or 7 new members, and these are good people. These are good people.
You don't want to come in. Come here. No, you don't.
You want me to talk? I'm saving my voice for tomorrow. But anyway, if he talks a little bit longer, I'm going to go get me a chair.
You know, you just ain't stopping the wheel from rolling.
Move that. But we want to make a little gift to you. For all, I'm going to let you read. I'll always give a little gift to you. For all that.
Can I put this in my pocketbook?
Oh, go ahead.
Tell them how much time. I mean, nobody really realizes the time and effort that Frank Hamill had for spoon pluggers in America for us. So this is just a small token of our appreciation to him. I mean, you know, there's not much you can do, right? But this is something I think a lot.
We'll never be able to pay for the effort this point is started.
Got it.
Mr. Perry, I'm going to steal this, you know, like that's all.
This is something that I made at different parts of the country, and I started back in 1946. And I had a disaster fire, so to speak, in 1972. So I never did revise a lot of this stuff. Some of you have seen part of it in all parts of this. But he's more professional now. This is professional in another category, but I wanted them to see have this.
Professional thief.
I've got people, I've got one, I know I've got two. I've got one that he experimented with, which is a jointed spoon plug. And I found that, he didn't think that any of that stuff like it survived the fire, but he just didn't know what he was dealing with. And I got a jointed spoon plug, put that in there. Of course, now you didn't really market it though. That was something you worked on. So these you marketed. But I've got the original, and I'm not sure I'm saying it, I have the original 700, which is almost 10 inches long. Then you call that the 700 at that time. This one will go back to China. I mean, I'm serious. I told Mr. Perry, I said, Mr. Perry, now this was back then because I know that a big bass wants a big mouthful. And I kept saying down there in Florida, because see, I've been dreaming about these two 17-pound bass that I'm going to call for a number, that I'm going to catch for a number of years. And I kept saying that if I could just get a lure that would get just enough off the bottom, but would be about a foot long, that those bass would give them a mouthful. And he handmade, I thought two, as it turns out I found out somebody else had got one. But I got two of them that are the old original 700. These things would go to China. He wants me, I can't use them. I'm stumbling here. I'll get back on my routine. Thank you. See, the brain's racing, the mouth's not staying right along with me. I'm chugging up here. Okay, let's have a drawing. Who do we not have name tags of? I'd like, Raylene, why don't you shake these up real good, please? And then, I guess I really there's two children here that I know. One of them's got pretty blue eyes, and her name was Leslie. And that was Danny Moon's grandchild. Is she here? Leslie? Ashley. No, okay, I'm sorry. We have grandkids, Ashley and Leslie, and I thought I would remember it that way. So she's Leslie. Would you bring her up here and let her draw for our first door prize? A bunch of the door prizes, and it kind of looked like it's a commercial event with all the stuff we're giving away. We found that most people, this is what most people want. I mean, listen, if you're going to get a door prize, get something that you really want, and this is what people want. We have two of them. Now reach around in there good, don't get, okay, sure, who should get? If I did this, now I want you to pay attention to this. If I do this, who is this? Now wait a minute, I'm going to kick a cow pod. Who is that? Larry, come up here. Larry, you won. Larry Vickery. Look at it dream. Pluggers are very unique people. I haven't seen anybody that doesn't have something to give, something to offer. Sometimes it comes out in different ways. And sometimes it comes out in the most unusual set of circumstances. But I met Jim Wilson probably 2 years ago or 3 years ago. He called me on the telephone and we were talking about parachuting and whatever. Next thing I know, Jim's in and he likes spoon plugging, and next thing you know, he's got a motor home, and he's a craftsman. He's worked himself to death here. He's come up with these umbrella holders for that fits onto your boat seat. He's come up with the storage compartments to hold your umbrellas so you're not tripping over them. I didn't even know about this. This is a strip that shows your 500 is good from 2 to 4 feet deep, your 400 is good from 4 to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12, 12 to 15, 800, 15 to 25. The screws are with it, and it has a spacer on the screw, so when you screw this on the boat, this piece of plastic then becomes rigid and sits off approximately, looks like to me, 3/16 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch off of your boat, so your spoon plugs sit over these depths. Now, I know that some of the older guys, that may not be as critical. Some of the younger guys, that may be more down your alley. But quite honestly, I think that's great. Because one of the worst things is because I use a tackle box like Mr. Perry's and I get a lot of rusty lures, and when they're hanging up like this, at least I get a chance to dry out, for the old guys. But Jim, I'll ask you, also, he's giving away, now these are handmade now, this is his umbrella holders that fit on your seats. Would you like me to give these away individually, or would you like me to give away a set? Individually? Everybody wants more attention. Individually. Okay. Okay. Do we have a young Hyde up here? Teresa? Where's that boy? There he is. Let him come up here and he can do some drawing. Blake? First one will be for the, what do we call this, Jim? Major? Guide. I don't know how we call it. Like, reach in there. Don't get your fingers cut. I hope all you people close these things. Reach in there and grab one of those out there if you would, please. You got it? Okay, Steve Kelly, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Okay, this will be for the umbrella holder. Now this time, Blake, let me see. Okay, look at one. All right, just hope if you can get to it, we'll keep doing it. Go ahead. Let's see what this one is. Just for the first one I'm grabbing for the umbrella holder. He don't need this. Bart. If there's anybody who needs an umbrella holder, live down there in that heat truck, there it is right there. See, if you lost the sale, Bart would probably bought one from you, Jim. Blank plate. Give it something. It's almost like a plan or something. And this will be, we'll keep it the same order we're doing. This will be for the, Jim, I don't know what to call this. What should I call it? A guide? Mike Beesmer. Where's Michael at? in his blood. It isn't going to come out. That's just the way that it is. And he stayed at it. He knows how to hunt. And he knows how to fish. And he took Blake with him last year. Took him down to where they do their deer hunting. Right. See, now he can't keep still here. But in the tree, he stayed how many hours, Tricia? He stayed up in the tree with Kenny for 4 to 5 hours. He never had to tell him but one time, boy, you can't say nothing. He stayed in that tree for 4 to 5 hours. Deer came along, Kenny got him. They went down there to it. He was thrilled to death. He saw it there and it kind of bothered him a little bit. He kind of cried just a minute because he saw the deer laying there. Kenny said, boy, said, you've been watching too many Bambi movies. They cleaned the deer and said, did your daddy get, how big a deer did your daddy get? How big is it? What is it, real big deer? Did you see him do it? Were you there? Yeah. I'm telling you, blood will fail. Okay. Tennessee hoot owl. You're going to make friends with somebody. I can't do this. This is impossible. I can't do this. This is the person that I am slowly but surely destroying his life. Fluffy, this. I got to tell you this one thing, Mr. Perry, when this started, Mike and I are very good friends. When this started with me doing whatever this is that I do to Mike, then Mr. Perry got a little worried about it because Mike is a spoon plugger from the word down and up. And Mr. Perry wrote me, he's either got on the telephone or wrote me, I can't remember, said, this that you're doing to Mike, this was in the early stages, said, are you a little bit, are you going a little bit too far on this? We don't want to hurt Mike's feelings. And I told Mr. Perry, I said, Mr. Perry, when I was growing up, we had hogs and chickens and cows all around the house. And we would eat our food until the food 2 or 3 days so it really wasn't any fit for human consumption. And then we would throw the scraps out there in the yard and those hogs would jump into it. And they just loved it. They thought that we loved them, getting those scraps. And I said, that's the way it is with Mike.
Oh, shucks, right?
And,
This here's a...
Mike Moran.
Shucks. Have you all seen the book he put together? Everybody's seen that? The pictures he's done on me? I had to. It's out by the refreshment stand by the coffee in the morning.
Restroom.
The restroom area, it's on a picnic table. If you haven't seen it, see it tomorrow because it's all done off of one little picture I sent to him. We had a nice trip. We were down there with our wives and I caught a nice big, well, me it was big, you know, it was my biggest one. And Frank's just had all of that picture. And every month I'll wait for that newsletter. But you understand, he already known for 45 days, 2 months, 3 months, sometimes it's 6 months ahead of time he's worked on these pictures. And he won't tell me. It drives me crazy. The guy just loved that little picture, so I got him one. And he can just look at all the time.
that are getting the newsletter see this. Every month, poor old Mike is, yes, this is club, I'm sorry. The club, the people that are not in clubs, that are not getting these club newsletters, again, you're missing out. We're swapping our newsletters from club to club. Every month in the Chattanooga newsletter, we have a serial of what has happened to Mike in his life. I'm not going to tell you what all this is, but it all started quite innocently with just a simple game. Just a little Tennessee twisted in, okay? And it keeps getting, it's to the point where it's degrading, you know, whatever. But anyway, I take Mike's head in the computer, and I take his head, and I place his head upon whatever. It happens to be convenient at that particular time for whatever my sense of humor tells me I can get away with. But at any rate, this is a continuation story. I've got some good ones coming up. Oh, man. I've got some, I couldn't stand it. I've got one coming out next month. Now, this morning he went into 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I had to show him my newest one because this is just, I mean, this was good. But the one that's coming after that is, this is neat. At any rate, what I do is, computer-wise, I take his head and I put it on whatever, and there's a continuing story about this degrading lifestyle as Mike continues to fall into the lowest level of low that there is. At any rate, read it. It's down there. We got it in plastic, and you can see it. Is there anything else? People, I appreciate you being here. I really do. Thank you very much. Tomorrow afternoon, Mr. Perry, we've got all the activities which you see according to the list, and then we've got Mr. Perry's talk is at 2 o'clock. This gives, now, bear again, this is because you people let me know what you think we need to do to improve. You said, some of you, as 10, 12, 14, 16 hours getting home, so Mr. Perry's talk is at 2 o'clock. He's through by roughly 5. That gives you a jump to get home. You get to see his talk. This was from your suggestions. Your suggestions are why we keep trying to improve every year. If you got any more suggestions, things that you can help, think them over 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks, then let me know about it. No, I'm kidding. The drawing for Mrs. Morovsky's quilt will be tomorrow, just before Mr. Perry's presentation. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want everybody to pick up your name tag. I don't know how to do this in an orderly fashion, so just be nice to each other. Appreciate you coming. Thank you very much.